So y'all see that comment? I love comments like this from racists. Shows your lack of intelligence and also shows, you're racist. You see those people in the background? Those are the sheep people, aka the Mayan people. This is on their mirrors. You see their hair? There's locks, like mine's, right? And when their hair coil, it becomes a thermal regulator. And for your hair to do that, that means you are aboriginal. You come from the original people, and you possess vast amount of melanin, which you have to possess to be considered an aboriginal or original person anywhere on the earth. People spread out all over the Americas and even went to Africa and certain parts of Asia, which i.e. India, to contribute to their development culturally, intellectually, spiritually, and a lot more things. What I'm not going to do, I'm not going to talk about your dog hair. I'm going to leave that alone. If you come back with some goofy shit, then I'll touch on it in another video. Your hair don't grow to the sun, you're not original. See this? This is also the sheep people, or what you would call the Olmec people. You see that on his head? What is that? A fro. You call it afro. The Chippewa people, or the some of the Mississippian tribes call it the Chippewa. See this mummy? This is the Chiro mummy, one of the oldest mummies in the world. And you see what it has on his head? Locks, right? Well, not even in the world, in the Americas. So this where the Chinchero mummies. Speaking of the sheep people, these are descendants of the sheep people, the Creek Indians. I'm a Southeast Indian, by the way. One of my tribes is the Ogeechee Creek, right? Which is a part of the Yamasee, Seminole, and the whole nine. I'm not even going to explain that to you because it's not your business. But read that excerpt up there, right? That shows who the people were. My question is, why don't none of you Eurasian natives, quote unquote, ever have the genealogical proof to prove that your people were at certain places when the colonizers arrived, right? Why don't your people ever have the genealogical records to prove that you were here even past the 1800s? Your family were in the places where on the maps those tribes were located. That your people even own land in those places like mines. The same time that the colonizers were colonizing. Why don't you ever have that proof? You telling me to do some shit, right? My people not from Africa, but I definitely can tell your people is from Eurasia. To be original to anywhere apart in the world, you have to have hair like mine's, which possesses high amounts of melanin. Melanin is the essence of life. If you don't know, find out. I got some content on melanin. Matter of fact, I got a whole 10-minute thing.
All right, I want to get into this excerpt that describe the Aboriginal peoples of these lands, right? One of the many, right? This was written by Italian explorer, aka colonizer, Giovanni da Verrazzano in 1524. Make sure you pay attention to that date. Now, this is an excerpt from a letter that he wrote to King Francis. Now, it goes on to say the complexion of the Carolina Indians is black, not much different from that of the Ethiopians. Their hair is black and thick and not very long, tied behind their head like a small tail. As far as the physique of these men, they are well proportioned, of medium height, a little taller than we are, and have broad chest, strong arms, and the legs and other parts of the body are well composed. They are broad in the face and have big black eyes. They have a sharp cunning and are agile and swift runners. Now, this is just an excerpt of the letter just to show the description. But as we get into the letter itself, I want to go a little bit deeper. All right, family, pay attention to this, right? This is a little bit more detail when we get into the letter. It reads, they go completely naked except that around their loins, which they wear skins of small animals like martens, with a narrow belt of grass around the body, to which they tie various tails of other animals, which hangs down to the knees. The rest of the body is bare, and so is the head. Some of them wear garlands of bird feathers. They are dark in color, not unlike the Ethiopians, with thick black hair, not very long, tied behind their head like a small tail. As for the physique of these men, they are well proportioned, of medium height, a little taller than we are. They have broad chest, strong arm and legs, and other parts of the body are well composed. There is nothing else except that they tend to be broad in the face, but not all, for we saw many with angular faces. They have big black eyes and an attentive and open look. Then this Goofy say they are not very strong. Yeah, fuck out of here. But they have a sharp cunning and are agile and swift runners. Now this is the part I wanted to get into that the other excerpt didn't have, right? It said, from what we can tell from observation, in the last two respects, they resemble Orientals, particularly from the farthest Cenarian regions. Now, before the goofies come on talking about, look, I told you, shut up and pay attention. Now, remember, this was written in 1524, the letter was, right? Now, when you're paying attention to words, you want to pay attention to the etymology of the word. And etymology is just the meaning of the word when it was used at a particular time, right? The original meaning. Now, down here as the noun meaning of the word Oriental, you have native or inhabitant of the East, right? When you look a little bit further, you see a native of the Orient. And then when you look up top at the adjective meaning, it's of the Orient from the East, right? Now check this out. Now this is the etymology of the word Orient, right? The direction of the East, the part of the horizon where the sun first appears. Also, the eastern regions of the world, eastern countries, meaning the region east and south of Europe, what is now called the Middle East, but also sometimes Egypt and India. Pause there. Now remember in the letter he said the Orientals from the Cenarian regions, right? And this right here is the Sinai Peninsula, which would be considered the Cenarian region, right? And you seen in the etymology of the word Oriental, that's what they was talking about. So all Giovanni was doing in 1524 when he wrote this letter to King Francis was just comparing it to people that he knew that looked similar. And if you know the histories of those lands, then you'll know who he was talking about, man. He was talking about my peoples, bro. And my peoples ain't from over there. My peoples are aboriginals to these lands, but he just used that as a reference point. So before any of you goofies or racists fix your lips and tell me or my people to go back to Africa, shut the fuck up. This is our land. We are the aboriginal peoples of these lands, the original peoples of these lands. And aboriginal just means from the beginning for all you other goofies who be talking under my comment section. But peace, love, and power to my people. Wake up. America is our mother and grandmother land. This is our land and always been from the beginning of time. Remember that.